The success of MLS in America has seen football increase in popularity in recent years. Opportunities for talented youngsters, though, weren't keeping pace with the sport's development. That's something former Premier League defender John Curtis is seeking to change.
So don't just think about your own movement for your own sake, think about movement to create space for others. All right?
I came over here shortly after retiring to work with Everton America, and really felt a little bit frustrated that I couldn't do what I wanted to do. I wanted to try and give the kids over here more opportunities, the opportunities that I had when I was a young player coming through the ranks.
And stop there, change the neutrals. Well done, you two.
I've set up a business that really caters to that. It's called the National Centre of Excellence Programme, and it's about giving players opportunities to fulfil their potential, because the US boys and girls don't get the same opportunities.
As a product of Manchester United's academy and under the guidance of Sir Alex Ferguson, Curtis had one of the best apprenticeships in the game.
You're a sponge when you're that age, going into a club like Manchester United at 15, 16, 17, 18 years of age. You're absorbing everything that's being said to you. And he influenced me, and the environment that he created, you know, Sir Alex ran the club from top to bottom. And there's very few managers who do that these days.
John Curtis is going to be learning fast in this kind of environment.
As a young player going to make your debut at Old Trafford for the very first time in the Premier League, you're obviously excited, champing at the bit.
Giggs coming in. Oh, Giggs scores! Manchester United firing in from all angles.
It was a fantastic debut for me because we won comfortably in the end.
But Curtis also saw another side of Sir Alex. The young defender experienced what was commonly referred to as the hairdryer treatment.
I remember we were playing Coventry away in the Premier League, and I remember the ball going out in the corner, and I think we were losing at the time, and I didn't sprint to get it. And after that, I think we lost that game, and after the game he gave me the hairdryer big time. I think later in his career he really used the hairdryer as a weapon, and he'd deploy it on people he knew he could deploy it on who wouldn't crumble. But he didn't use it on everybody.
During his 2-year spell in United's first team, making the starting 11 proved difficult. But despite the lack of game time, his experience at the club was invaluable.
I was so lucky to play and work with those guys for such a long time. Andy Cole, he was a phenomenal player, phenomenal athlete. Even Giggsy, so down-to-earth, super to work with, and helped me as a young player trying to get through. Paul Scholes, he played the game in his head. He was 2 or 3 moves ahead. He was superb technically, just the way he passed the ball with his laces or even with his instep. The class of '92 were a little bit before me, so that made my progression and my kind of peers' progression a little bit tougher. I was stagnating, my progression had stopped, and I went to see the gaffer and said, can I go out on loan? And I think it was 2 weeks later, I'm playing at Main Road, 4 bars against Manchester City in the Championship. And that was a springboard, obviously, to go on to Blackburn and then play again in the Premier League for Blackburn, Leicester and Portsmouth. So I was lucky enough to play for 4 Premier League teams. It wasn't until you left, actually, that kind of setup that you realised it was very highly pressured. And I think that's what Sir Alex and his team at Manchester United did. They created that environment that produced players, ultimately. I spoke to him when I first moved to America, and you know, he offered to help in any way he could, and that's the kind of guy he is. You know, he will, as long as you're loyal to him and Manchester United, he'll be absolutely loyal to you.
Can you do it? Can you do it? Make sure you targets are moving.
We go on international trips on a regular basis to try and give the boys in particular who have the European passports a chance to get involved with the clubs over there. Obviously connections at Manchester United, so we've been there. I think it's important to try and recreate that pressure all the time, because as soon as you step into the first team, there is that pressure. And as a young player making my debut, I really didn't notice that much difference. That's how good a job the environment did of preparing you for first team action. And the environment that he was responsible for creating certainly influences the way I behave today, on and off the field.